Hello there and welcome to my kitchen. I'm gonna do some meal prep for you today. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, hi, hello, welcome. My name's Alexi, and on my channel, I like to teach you all the things that I do in my life to live a happier and healthier lifestyle, just fitness, nutrition geared stuff. So probably more like that, but you know, if I want to share something that just makes me happier and healthier, I'm telling you, because that's the goal always in my life. Today, I just want to take you through kind of what my current meal prep looks like. Very lucky for me, not lucky for me, just grateful that I have another wonderful person in my life that helps me with meal prep, and we just kind of meal prep together with one another for each other kind of deal. I'm just gonna show you what I typically do and kind of some of the regular weekly meal prep type things that I do. The meats that Daniel and I eat is chicken. We eat beef. He likes pork, so I eat pork. Sometimes he makes like chicken thighs. We have chicken breasts. Fish, yeah. Sometimes we eat everything. I eat everything. I'm not picky. I'll pretty much eat anything, but this is just typically what we eat day in and day out, week by week. I don't really enjoy touching chicken breast, cutting chicken breast, all of that fun stuff, and I just don't enjoy cooking it. So that's pretty much his job. He always cooks the chicken, and then I'm all about that ground meat life. So I'm always cooking ground turkey and ground beef. Today I'm cooking ground turkey. Bah! These guys right here, got 2 packages. Typically we have multiple types of meat in the fridge. There's always options. One of us is usually cooking like every other day, I feel like it is. And shout out to Daniel because he's taught me a lot as to how to make things taste better and taste good without being hard, because that I need easy, I need convenience. I'm not playing around. Like I don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I got other stuff going on, and it's just not where I choose to spend my time unless I'm baking up some sweets. I cook it in this pot here. I will show you that process when we get to it, but also what I'm going to be doing is we got some fruit, so I'm gonna wash and cut that up. He did blueberries last night already, so that's already done. And then the veggies. We got cauliflower, broccoli, and some asparagus. Typically the way that I've been doing this recently, and it just really works, is minimizing the barrier between eating these foods. It's really easy to not eat these if they stay in the container the whole time, and it's really easy to not eat this kind of stuff if it's just in the bag in the bottom of the fridge. So I'm going to take you real quick through the process of me cutting it, washing it, prepping it, all of that kind of fun stuff. I usually will prep it. It will be in a bag and like ready to go, so that when I'm ready to cook it up, if I'm not ready to cook it right now, I can just take it out, put it in the air fryer or the microwave or whatever it may be. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that I will prep my veggies. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for and what I have time for or what I want to devote my time for. If worst case scenario, none of that is done, always got frozen veggies on hand. So these are really easy, just microwave it, super easy. Always have that on hand just in case we need some veggies. One of the really nice things that I don't do for prep, especially since I cry like a baby when I do, Daniel preps all of the onions. Like he chops up all of the onions and it's already in these containers. So I love him so very much for that. It's so nice. I cry even just being on the couch and he's cutting them. It's awful. You can do it underneath the vent. That has definitely helped me before, like turn your vent or fan or whatever on and cut up the onion underneath there, and that has definitely helped me out. Or if you have like a food processor, you could chop them up in a food processor. Or if you're like me, when I didn't want to do either of those things, I just already bought them cut up. I spent the extra money and I bought them cut up because I knew I wasn't going to do it if I didn't. You know, you gotta pick and choose here. Just find whatever one works best for you. He has that cut up. There's actually some peppers in here too. So we got yellow onion, red onion, peppers. All of that stuff is already prepped and like ready to go. That makes it really easy for me when I'm ready to go in and cook the meat, because I can just add the onions right away and I don't have to prep them or cut them. So again, it's just like minimizing that barrier. You just have to figure out what the barrier is for you and then how to minimize it. Normally there's a rice cooker over here, but that decided to just like not work. I don't know what happened, but typically he cooks the rice for us in the rice cooker, so really, really convenient. Again, if you wanted something that's very like no-brainer, I always used to just cook it on the stove, or my easier go-to route is also just potatoes. It's really easy to throw a potato in foil and throw it in the oven and forget about it and do whatever else you need to do. So that's another way that I like to get my carbs in. I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna show you what I do. I don't think there's anything else I want to touch base on. So I'm just taking some vinegar here, and I like to eyeball everything, and doing that in cooking has always stressed me out. There's a hair on me. I can feel it. I don't want to be cooking with a hair on me because my hair is everywhere. Daniel has really helped me, made it super simple for myself, so now I feel much better at just like winging it. I know how to wing it in the way that I know it in my head, so like what I show you is very basic, but that's good enough for me. And it just works when you're consistently doing it day in and day out. I want something that is easy and feels easy to me, or I'm not doing it. We've got the berries soaking in a vinegar. I'm gonna do the same thing with these vegetables as well, the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the aspar. I'm about to start mixing it up in my little potaroo here. We're gonna use some soy sauce to help give the meat some flavor. This is something I never thought of ever using, and now it seems like a no-brainer to me because it gives the food so much more flavor. And as long as you're not having like ridiculous amounts of sodium everywhere in your life, and as long as you're not drowning your meat in this, it's fine. Don't stress out about the salt. It's fine. And also we get low sodium. If you wanted to, you could use the Bragg's amino acid, the liquid aminos. You could use something like this if you wanted to. This is a soy sauce alternative, and it's got less sodium. So if that's an issue, you could always do that as well. But the sodium is not that scary. I'm gonna use some red onions here. Daniel likes when I do things different. I just want to make everything the same and call it that, but he likes when I do things different. So we're gonna do one way, one of the packages one way, and one another way. So I'm gonna use red onions here and yellow onions in the other. Look at me being so creative in the kitchen. He's got some peps here, so I'm actually gonna use some of these peppers and the red onions. I like peppers. Just wanna show you, this is what we're working with. I'm gonna warm it up for just a little bit probably, and then I'm gonna put the turkey in. Again, keeping it real simple. So what I'm throwing in here is some salt, some pepper. We are gonna do a little bit of onion powder, garlic, cayenne pepper. Listen, old me, I would have just done salt, pepper, and garlic and called it a day. But now I get a little bit more creative, but just by adding like 1 or 2 spices. Again, this is what I do just on the reg to keep it real simple. Now that my meat is cooked, I'm gonna transfer it to a nice little Tupperware for the fridge, and now I'm gonna cook the second batch of turkey. And while I'm cooking the second batch of turkey, I'm going to be doing the rest of the vegetable prep. I forgot to mention also, we do have garlic like this in the fridge, so there are times that I use this instead of garlic powder. I'm gonna do that right now with some ginger. I've honestly been doing what I'm doing right now for like the last couple of weeks, and I'm just like, oh, this is me experimenting. I'm gonna put some ginger. I'm doing a little bit of soy sauce again, and then we have this that Daniel told me would be good to do with like ginger, so now I just put it in every time I make it with ginger, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then instead of the red onions, I'm going to use some yellow onions. And then I'll do spices and seasoning and all of that fun stuff again. Let me just show you what it looks like real quick in my potaroo. So this is what we're looking like. I'm gonna let this warm up just a smidge more, and then I'm gonna put that package of turkey in, and then I'll show you the spices that I put in as well. I think I'm gonna keep it real simple here, and I'm just gonna put some salt and pepper, and then maybe a little bit more ginger powder. I don't know what else would go with that, but that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Real quick and easy, like with the asparagus, I'm gonna steam it in the microwave because I want to show you how I do that. My cauliflower and broccoli I'm going to make in the air fryer, which I guess you could do the same in the oven if you wanted to. to, I'm just gonna do it in the air fryer because it's faster. For the asparagus, I really don't care about the ends being like this. I mean, if you wanted to cut them off, you could. I just snap them all the bottoms off instead of cutting it because it's quicker, faster, easier. And then I just leave it as is. I usually cut everything really small into pieces with scissors anyway before I eat it because I don't like to cut my food up as I eat it, okay? I am just going to put the asparagus in this glass dish like this. It's still a little wet because I washed it. So I probably don't even need to put any water in the bottom of the dish, but if you wanted to, or maybe if you wanted to steam it faster, I think that's how it would go. You can put a little bit of water in the bottom of the dish. I'll do it just to show you. I really did just like a very minimal amount. Can you see how much is in there? Basically nothing. Like a very, very small layer on the bottom of the dish. To steam it, I'm taking a paper towel and I'm putting it on top like so. Now I'm gonna put it in the microwave. In the microwave, just like this. Sometimes I'll like try and fold it down just so the paper towel doesn't fall off. And then, I don't know, let's guesstimate 2 minutes. And let's just see what it looks like. I personally do not like my vegetables overcooked. I like them still a little crunchy. I also reheat my food, so I don't like to overcook a lot of the vegetables because then they just become mush. I always prefer to undercook rather than overcook because it's always easy to overcook or just cook them for longer if you need to. So we're gonna start with 2 minutes and then we're gonna see what it looks like. They're really thin asparagus spears, so I feel like it just is gonna need less time in the microwave. Okay, let's check on the asparagus here. It's not hot because I've left it setting for a few minutes. Oh yeah, I can tell just by the texture of it, by the way it looks, and sometimes I'll eat one just to see if it's how I want it. Perfect. Nice and undercooked the way I like it. This is just about done as well. I'm gonna let it just sit in here for a couple more minutes. We've got veggies to go in the air fryer next. Straws are ready to go, so we are just going to cut the strawberries up real quick. And I like to do this because I like to leave containers in the fridge with no lid, just so that as soon as I open up the fridge, I can just reach my hand in, grab the fruit or grab whatever it is. It's already washed and ready for me to just grab and put in my mouth. So another way that I minimize the barrier of the strawberries or the fruit or the vegetables being in their containers in the fridge. I'm also going to be tossing the broccoli and the cauliflower in a little bit of olive oil just so that the seasonings that I sprinkle on top kind of stick to it and keep that flavor. I know I didn't put anything on my asparagus. Again, I like really simple steamed veggies a lot of the times, and also a lot of my meat and food is flavored, so I'll get a lot of flavoring from the food, and I enjoy the fresh, like just basic taste of vegetables. So I enjoy just eating things steamed, but even if you steamed it, you could always season it maybe afterwards, or right before you're eating your meal. Maybe you give a little sprinkle of some salt and pepper if you just wanted to add a little bit of flavor. But like I said, I just enjoy my vegetables steamed and boring, if you will. I'm sure everyone's air fryer is maybe a little bit different, but that one's set to 370, which is just what it is when I turn it on. So it's just like turn it on, hit go, and I just leave it in there. I don't even press any of the buttons to adjust it, ever. It's just like the amount of time that we leave stuff in there. Sometimes I'll open it up, shuffle it a little bit, like toss it around, but other than that, that's pretty much what I do. You can do the same thing, I'm sure, in an oven on a baking sheet. It would just take a little bit longer. So that's why I like the air fryer. It's just really quick, easy, and convenient. Some of them are starting to look a little browned, so I could leave them in a little bit longer. I actually think I'm going to. I'm only going to leave them in probably for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then that's definitely it. I'm not going to leave them longer, so I'm not going to overcook them. It's taking 10 minutes. I'm very big on cleaning as you go so that you don't have a lot of cleanup at the end, so it's kind of incorporated in my time for as long as it takes me to meal prep. Again, usually a half an hour is kind of like my cutoff, unless it's like a day like today where I'm like, alright, I got all this stuff, I want to get it done, I have the time to get it done today, and blah blah blah. Usually like I spend no more than a half an hour. Half an hour is sometimes pushing it, and 9 times out of 10 I can be doing something while I'm doing something else. So maybe I'm like over here on the stove just cooking some meat, and then I'm like on my computer over here real quick, or I'm just picking up and cleaning up. I'm also a person who's like I'm always doing something while I'm doing something, if that's the intention. I'm very good at doing absolutely nothing as well. Like, I try to be very productive in my daytime hours so that I can just chill out and do absolutely nothing at night. So usually when I'm cooking, I'm cleaning or responding to this or doing the laundry, or like there's always something going on. I just am super productive, and I try to manage my time as much as I can to make the most out of my time, so that's why I clean as I go, and it's just less overwhelming at the end when I'm done and I'm like, ugh, I'm tired, I don't want to do all of this. Clean as you go. And if I don't have time to cook all of this right now, I would do something like just washing the vegetables and chopping the vegetables and then putting them in the fridge the way Daniel has some other stuff already prepped and ready to go. That way when I would have the 10 or 15 or 20 minutes to just cook my veggies and clean everything up, then I can just do that when I have time for that. So that's how I would break it down into smaller time blocks. Same thing with like the strawberries. It takes me 10 minutes to wash the strawberries and cut them up and then clean up after myself. So that might be something I do on a different day as well. Again, you just have to find what works for you and kind of how to optimize it in your time or in your schedule so that you don't feel like you're slaving away in the kitchen, because you definitely don't need to be slaving away in the kitchen. And again, if you don't even have time for this, you can buy so many things already pre-made and pre-prepped, and that's something that I did like in my real busy days. So even if that's something that you would like to see, it's just like real quick hacks and easy go-tos, then let me know. Okay, here is the final product. Look at that broccoli and cauliflower steaming. This took about an hour's worth of time. I feel like that's a decent amount of food. And again, you don't need to cook this much in one setting. Usually I'll do one and one and one, or like one and one. I usually don't spend all of this time doing all of this. Super easy, convenient, and I have now reduced the barrier of me eating the food because the food is already made and it's just gonna sit in the fridge and it's gonna be ready for me to eat it. And like with things like these strawberries, I stick it in here like this. So I open up the fridge and I'm like, ooh, I want a strawberry. Perfect. Minimizing the barrier. That's about it for this meal prep. You know, as always, remember that this is kind of what works for me and this is what works for us, and this is how we meal prep, and this is something that can change and has changed. It's just currently what meal prep kind of looks like right now. Like I always say, everything is specific and individualized to you. There is no one size fits all. So you just want to make sure that you are molding and adapting everything to fit in a way that is doable and manageable and realistic for you in your day. Take all of this as ideas or recommendations for you to try, or maybe switch things up from what you've been doing. You don't have to take all of this into practice, but if you take even just a piece of it into practice, then maybe that's a way that you can make it beneficial to you and implement it into your nutrition and your meal prep in your life and what you're already doing in your life. Again, my goal is just to share things with you that help you live a happier and healthier lifestyle, or get to that happier and healthier lifestyle that if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to get there, and who doesn't want to live a happier and healthier lifestyle anyways, am I right? Think about finding a way to break down what you want or what you have to do in the week, maybe to more smaller, manageable, attainable time blocks that you can do on a day-to-day basis. Remember, 5-minute action. If you did not watch last week's video, make sure you check that out. It'll be in the card above, because that talks about 5-minute action. I mean, you can apply this to the kitchen and cooking as well, right? If I don't have time to do all of this, well, I can take 5 minutes right now to let my fruit soak in my vinegar and my water and wash them and drain them, and then when I come home, maybe they're ready to go. Maybe I just have to chop them up. They're already washed. So that is just a good way to also apply your 5-minute action to your food and anything that you feel like you need a little bit of motivation to get you in gear to do. Nutrition is a great place to practice that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more food related videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
You stole my heart of gold.